Hi, Wendell. Morning, Wendell. Morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Giselle.
How are you feeling? Are you better?
No, not really.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, but I have to.
Allergy? Allergy.
No, it's a vertigo.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
Do you really suffer from vertigo?
Yeah. Well, actually, this is just recently, and I don't want to go to the hospital, of course. So
Wow.
that makes it worse.
But it must be something when you say vertigo kasi meron talagang condition na like Cherry Bunag Pascual. Cherry Pascual really has yung talagang vertigo ever since she was young.
Oh, really? Ay, ako naman hindi.
She cannot cross the street.
Okay.
Because merong effect sa kanya siguro yung mga surroundings, no? Movements in the surroundings. So your vertigo might be secondary to something.
Yeah, it could be.
I suggest, Wendell, you have a home blood test.
All right.
I know two providers, New World and High Precision.
High precision.
Yeah, you've High Precision. Yung mismo rin nag-aano ng mga Roche products. Pero New World din, yun yung mas dati namin. At least you know kung merong problema yung mga blood levels.
Yeah.
Okay, so I suggest you have that taken.
Yeah,
so Wendell, how do you want to do it? I really wish that without having to burden you so much, no? Because you're sick. Pero I think parang hindi self-serving masyado sa akin kasi I'm obviously pushing it, no? But at the same time, we're not. We're presenting it as we said we would. And then I will ask the board to decide whether to endorse it for vote for election. If, this journal can be the official publication or journal of PAASE. Okay? So the way it's done is first we conduct this discussion, consultation, and then presentation of the pros and the cons, and then we'll get the board to decide whether to endorse or not. So for me, either way, officially or non-officially, meron pa rin namang way to get the recs to prepare special issues. So, I did bring it up in a rec meeting of Vince Daria in Santo Domingo. They were the ones. Vince in particular was the one who suggested it. Right. So I'll just give a brief history and then you can use your slides once you're comfortable with.
The slides that you sent yesterday, do you want me to run through those slides?
Ang coverage ba niya iba dun sa iyo?
Yeah, it's actually the same. So, and I like the way Mon prepared it. So
then please be the one. Can you be the screen or do you want me to do it?
I can share screen, I think. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just give me the access.
Yes, later, huh? Okay. Yeah. Or even now, I'll do it now. So you be now co-host, of course. Okay. Sige. So, yun na lang yung kay
Mon, no?
Oo.
Yeah.
Yung pag pumunta na dun sa one scholar, if you want him to say something.
Yes, I think that's better. So he can make it today, Mon?
He said that he could, but he might be in the car. Mukhang meron siyang field trip for OVPT, but I'm really not sure. He said na he would. But when he comes in, then we'll give him time to...
yeah, I'd like to.
Ang ginawa ni Cesar Saloma sa PJS,
Mm-mm.
syempre yun din yung direksyon natin, would be the statistics, the
Yeah,
data,
I saw these tutorials, yeah.
PSL. So I don't know who can do that or what program or app will allow us to do that, but we will ask Mon to look for one. Okay?
Yeah.
So pinapahabol ko sa niya today. You might want to check it.
Yeah.
3 articles. One is the one of Alikwanan on the Namenzo collection
Uh-uh.
features. The other one is a commentary of Joel Cuello on human capital development. So
Uh-huh.
after our fireside chat 2, he wrote a nice paper arguing his point. One reason for supporting S&P capital development that is really linkage with industry. Yun naman din talaga yung ano ni Joel. So I said, pwedeng publish dito. So hopefully by today, I can check it. And
Yeah.
then the third is the features of the event of 40th APAMS. Because Mario Santo Domingo and June Lit wrote an article, and it was in response to Ernie Pernia's request for a press con release. But it was quite long. So, ang ginamit, yung sinulat ni Joel na maikli na iba. So, Joel has his own always. He will do his own. So, I made that press release of June and Mario another feature article in PSL.
Okay.
So, we used to have that. Merong meeting ang PAASE or a society, pwede namang i-feature, no? So, yun. Ang hindi lang mailagay ni ano ngayon, wala naman tayong group picture eh. Sa 40th APAMS.
Yeah.
So, kumusta na, Wendell, yung ang klase, yung course pack mo?
Okay naman. Ang maganda lang, graduate student lang yung na-handle ko this time. So, hindi siya mahirap yung course pack. Okay lang siya. Yeah. Ang mahirap yung mga nagtuturo ng service courses.
Pinagkakaguluhan masyado ng mga faculty, no? Yung mga sa MSI, iba-iba. Puros graduate level naman tinuturo aside from that parang anong tawag natin doon
You have
course.
a GE course, right? 1 GE course.
Oo, mga 1G courses.
Okay.
Oh. Pero kahit yun dahil nga GE lang siya, hindi naman sobrang in-depth ang treatment. In fact, ang kailangan ginagamit doon yung mga MOOCs all around the world. Ang daming mga pwedeng i-assign na video, tapos yung teacher mag-assign ng questions to answer. Diba? Guided.
Yeah.
Why reinvent and do your own MOOC or your own PowerPoint when on every topic under the sun, you can now find a suitable, good, high-quality MOOC. Yun. I think hindi dapat pahirapan. I think kailangan i-foster yung self-learning. Yung sinasabi ng mga Bernidos, self-learning. Ang kailangan sa panahon na to. I think mas maraming matututunan ng mga bata na kung turuan lang saan humanap ng information, di ba?
Yeah.
So, plano naman sa graduate. That research is about
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, kahapon nagkaroon na naman kami ng meeting. Lumalaki bumubunga. And I'm hoping lang that for every parang special project of PAASE, merong outcome, merong implementable outcome talaga. So, yung first kasi, yung sa partnership with USAID Stride. So, magka-outcome na yon kasi talagang maghihingi tayo ng volunteers from PAASE na mag-lecture sa mga SUCs, academic leadership. Okay, so enabling innovation-centered strategic planning in Philippine universities. So, actually, sa October 29, bale Fireside Chat 6, we will have 4 women presidents speak about their initiatives in private universities. Esther Garcia, Tina Padolina, and then Caroline Enriquez, the PACU president. 4th is Elizabeth Lajos of TIP. Grabe. You know, I had a Zoom meeting with them. I mean, marami silang ginagawa na hindi natin alam na ahead pa. Lalo pa TIP, Technological Issue. Meron ng parang Fab Lab, more pa, sinet up nilang sarili. Meron silang 3D printing at ibang instrumentation.
Wow.
Kasi yung anak nun, yung si Benji Lajos, is already is an engineer na very forward-looking. Tapos nandun pa ngayon si Earl John Reb Juanico. No?
Yeah, and physics, right?
Yun, so yung ganun lang, all it takes is the next generation of teachers. No?
Yeah.
Pero si Beth Lajos herself, my gosh, grabe. Talagang forward-looking, napaka-articulate, napaka-husay na leader. So, yun, that's also an extension already of academic leadership and helping the Philippine universities.
Yeah. When is this? 2 weeks from now?
Oo, kasi every Thursday Kaya nga ito, kung hindi tayo natuloy today, ipo-postpone ko ito to next Thursday.
Alright.
Keep ko yung sa mga 4 women presidents.
Okay.
Ko yung social amelioration projects focused on food actually, led by Andy Lobos to the following Thursday pa. Pero buti na lang na makip yung schedule.
Yeah.
Huwag kang madismaya pagka walang mag-show up dito. Ako, attitude ko lang ganon. Everything for me is almost diagnostic. Ibig sabihin, pagka nangumbida ka ng ganito, tapos walang dumating, nag-special, nakita mo, sinisi kita. Special email pa to the board and officers and to the rec chairs. Tapos the other day to the general PAASE. Kung walang dumating, it's almost an indication na ayaw suportahan. Right?
Right.
Lang ako learning it early is for me good. So,
But anyway, Giselle, what's your plan about the editorial board?
That's the good point.
Yeah, right.
That's why I wanted them to. So that's. Are you going to show the members of the editorial board? Or hindi na?
Actually, no, but we can mention, yes.
We can actually put. We can put on okay, I'll do that, huh? If you don't mind, I will have it ready in my screen.
Okay, good.
Para non.
Yeah.
All right. Saglit. Yeah. And then we will I'll put it to the editors. Saan ba dito yung ating home, no? About.
Yeah.
Prepare ko lang. Editions. Kasi nandito pa sila, associate editors lang, ha? So, ilalagay ko lang dito yung associate editors. Adjunct editor. Hindi updated dito yung si Louie Atienza, wala na ito, no?
Yes.
Okay, and then editorial board. Pero I will start it na rin in the associate editors, no? Sige, naka-prepare na siya. Pagka i-withdraw mo yung siguro presenta mo muna yung yung slides ni Mon, tapos stop your share and then I will do the share of that one. Yeah. So ikaw, what do you suggest?
Yeah, I think we have to put the younger, vibrant, those who can really work in the editorial board. Yeah,
And fewer.
yeah, fewer.
So I suggest yung mga suki mo, yung talagang mga nag-re-review na para sa iyo,
That's true.
ilagay
Yeah,
natin yon.
yeah.
Okay? Ano ang position mo tungkol sa identifying the reviewer of the paper?
Ah, okay.
Blind pa rin yon?
Line pa rin sana.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kasi it's moving towards this transparency. Of course, nung panahon namin ni Ed, talagang gusto niya yun ang ideal because then the reviewer becomes responsible for the paper also.
yeah.
Pero eto na meron na pumapasok so we can start
Right.
si Joel good morning Dr. Janeiro. So are you in now?
Hello.
How are you? Good morning.
Morning po.
Are you familiar with Philippine Science Letters?
Ay, yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure if you've published here.
May dalawang papers po ako.
Wow.
Thank you. So, sorry at parang hindi ko na maalala kung ikaw or your two other relatives. Diba? Yung nag-publish. So, ikaw. So, nagkikwentuhan lang kami ni Wendell na baka ang maganda din yung mga editorial board and yung mga mas bata na.
Yeah.
Oo.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Nina. Thanks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Miss you.
How are you, Nina?
Busy po.
Oo. Course pack pa rin, ano?
Oh, we're done with course pack. Kaya lang marami pa rin pinagkakaabalahan.
Oo. Well, keeps us young. Keeps us young.
Keeps us young, truly.
Keeps us young. Uy, look at this coming in, Joel.
Okay, good.
Okay, wonderful. Good morning, Joel. Good morning.
Good morning.
Here we are again.
Yes. Good afternoon here. Hi, Wendell.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah.
Hello, Jose.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Ay, more
Oh,
than
wow.
keeps us connected, seeing each other.
Yeah.
And
Nina.
Nina, it's like a chat. It's an informal chat. Even if,
Right.
the topic sounds heavy, but what's nice about this Zoom is it's so informal, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
anyway, Joel, keep fingers crossed. I got to hear it from Mon that your paper is up by this morning because I aimed late last night. We were saying
Oh,
your
I see.
position paper or your commentary.
Okay, great. Thank you.
But I don't want to check it yet if it's there already. I
Okay.
will in a short while. Okay.
All right, thanks. Thank you.
So that's good. I was hoping the paper of the Bernidos would also be in Philippine Science Letters, but
Right.
looks like Drexel Camacho was quick to invite publication in Química.
All right. Okay, great.
But then
Excellent.
more focus is just for chemists, right? I wonder what, Joel, would your position be on publishing a position paper commentary that had been published in another place previously because of the
I
readership.
think that's fine.
Yeah, it's
I think
not
that's
original work. It's just the the commentary. So
Right.
because I think it's an important paper too. So we could still consider that. I'll ask the
Yes, yes. Right, right, right.
yes. Wonderful.
Hello, Nina.
There we see Nina.
You're on mute.
You're on mute. I'll unmute.
Okay. I was saying good afternoon on your side. Good morning on our side.
Yeah, you
Thank
look
you.
well, Nina.
Oh, thank
Uh,
you.
up.
And I heard people are congratulating you, Joel. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
So I have
Nina, what is
the Gmail. Can you announce it again? What's the congratulations again? Never
Yes,
ending
please.
congratulations, huh? Pardon?
Joel, please.
Tell us.
Update us.
Oh my gosh, the
what is
latest.
this?
I did not check. Let me check now.
I heard you had several PhDs graduated and their publications up.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, that's
Yeah, yeah.
And you
fantastic.
shared your publication as well, right?
Okay.
Yes,
So
I
did
did.
I?
Publication.
All right.
Okay.
Nina, what is that background that you have? Is that UP Los Baños?
Yes. This is the view
Are you,
in UPLB? No.
yeah, are you at UPLB?
I
I
am in Los
recognize
Baños, but not in UPLB.
Got it.
but that's
Yes,
pretty,
yes, I understand.
our
That's beautiful.
background. That's the entrance of UP Los Baños, Nina. Am I right?
Right.
No, this
No?
part is near Circa, and this is the area facing. If you are in at the
Oh,
library, then you're facing
got
this.
it.
Mm.
Got it. Yes.
Again,
Yes, I
again.
remember now.
Can you speak again so I can see a close-up view, Nina?
Which one? Me? My
Yeah,
me?
yes. So I'm trying to recognize it from the library.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the main
Yeah.
library. That's the area.
That building on the left is the biological sciences
Yeah.
building.
Correct.
The
It's
one on the right is Circa.
But you can't see it from here. That's the
Correct, yeah.
It's from the hill.
Oh.
Right.
Nice.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep.
Jose, I don't think we've met before.
I'm from the LSU. I'm
Oh, you're from BLSU. Okay.
Yes. He's
All
the
right.
third in a line of Janeros already.
All right.
Outstanding Janeros, all in DLSU. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I cannot remember
CP.
now if you won the outstanding young talent search in NAST or was one of the finalists.
talent search po, 2016.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Very
Thank you.
outstanding. So, good morning, CP. Good morning. Thanks for joining.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, CP.
Hi.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. We'll wait another 3 minutes and then we'll just start, okay? So I was about to tell you that, well, we're looking for implementable actions from our themes in the Fireside chats. And yesterday, I had a meeting with Gokong Wei Brothers Foundation and the UP Diliman Engineering Foundation, Research Foundation. Because, this UP engineering is really pushing Visor.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not a product of UP engineering. It is a product of physics. Huh? It's really for STEM education, which is the advocacy of UP engineering. And that's why I invited them last Thursday. So Tito Aliga, civil engineering, and then Chicha Mantaring, I think electrical engineering, and Ferds de la Cruz mechanical engineering, graduates of UP,
Mhm.
all formerly with industry, with Ayala and but anyway, Tito Aliga brought in Grace Colette, who's like the top person in Gokongwei Brothers Foundation. And then they invited me yesterday afternoon also to join the meeting, a small one, but Gani Tapang was there explaining Visor. And Tito Aliga with such, I don't know, is very, very intense about what to do with STEM. No? So now we're proposing that perhaps the Gokongwei group take the lead, maybe in producing 10,000 units of the Visor. Because we've been trying to look
Wow.
for such a manufacturer. And it and the first 75 units was manufactured by Alexa. But then, I mean, that's a small batch and they don't want to do it again. Gokongwei has the capability, the technological capability to produce this Visor.
That's great.
So I think, Joel, slowly but surely, we are moving towards connections with the biggest industries in
Yeah.
the Philippines. And that's one way to do it. They're also connected with multinationals. Okay, so your proposal to get to business, to do the ecosystems with local business and then foreign businesses could also move in that direction through our local
Yeah.
leaders.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll stop there and I think we should start. I mean, this is just us, unless you think we should wait for a few more. Wendell, what do you think?
Yes,
Just
we can start.
we can start. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think everyone has something else after, including CPU's class. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our fourth Fireside Chat. This is on considering, um, well, the online journal Philippine Science Letters as a journal where we could publish REC, Research Expertise Cluster based special issues of research articles. Okay. And I'll start with the background of PSL. So um, I am currently co-editor, and I'd like to, of course, give Wendell Rivera, the more active co-editor between the two of us, all the chance to talk about PSL. And later, our copy and our print editor, Richmond Pancho, will join us, but he's busy now with his main job, which is in the Office of the Vice President for Development in Quezon. Okay, so this is really conceived by Ed Paglan and myself, 2007, Philippine Science Letters, as a way to train our young researchers to publish their work. And this was at the time where Ed Padlan and I also offered a course in MSI on publishing. Okay, so guiding our graduate students on how to publish papers. And so Ed and I became the co-editors and publishers. And at that time, we found volunteers with us giving a little honorarium on a monthly basis to put up the articles in online, and they were people in MSI first, some computer guy in MSI, followed by my RA Marvin Altamia, who's now a leading researcher. He's based in Northeastern University. Anyway, so we were able to come up with issues, and the number of articles was growing and growing over more than 5-7 years. Okay, and you can find them in our archives. You can find them in our archives. And we had the whole range of science and engineering covered by Philippine Science letters. Letters patterned after biochemical letters and other journals of short communications. And we know that these letters originated from letters between members of professional societies, okay? Professional societies. So we thought Philippine Science letters would be nice. And we wanted to feature the work of Filipinos, both here and abroad, and their collaborators. But now we're also welcoming papers by non-Filipino authors. Okay? So for our editorial board, because Ed and I were active in PAASE, we invited members of PAASE as reviewers and members of the board. Now, over the years, we've come up with some transition of the board depending on well, the willingness to review, because as it happened many times when we would ask the reviewer, it always declined. So we would count on others. So the way Ed and I would do it is we would always split the submissions, and then between him and me, we would line up the reviewers from the editorial board and from others. And we would follow through. We would follow through each of the reviewers, and then, we would make the final decision. Okay, so it became a, I would say like a mom and pop thing, right? And we would just communicate via email. Nothing automated about it. I would keep an Excel sheet of each of the articles, and there I would follow follow up the reviews. Anyway, so at some point, sometime 2011, 2012, it got the attention of USAID Stride. Okay, USAID Stride came in. David Hall was very interested to come up with a Philippine journal with inputs from USAID Stride in terms of funding, but also in terms of content and expertise. So at inception, we had several types of articles: the regular article, review by invitation only. Okay, so you can come up with a review article, but you must be an expert in the field. So it was the basis of our of invitation. We had feature articles on academicians and PAASE members. And there's several of them already featured. We asked a young person, a mentee, to write about the person. But when we didn't find one, then I would just ask one of my RAs to write it. And then we had the commentary, notes to the editor, and then we also allowed hypothesis papers. So regular articles are normally those that have some experimentation, right? But then there are journals like medical hypothesis or biological hypothesis that accept papers without experimental component. It's just a hypothesis, but then it's important because then you can get the readers to test the hypothesis. So that continued. The kinds of articles were retained, but then David Hall, chief of party of USAID Stride, suggested that we open up Philippine Science letters to make it more readable to the general public. And so he said that we should also feature more articles in terms of the balance of articles that related to industry, would be attractive to industry and to government. So one of the first papers we put up there was the white paper of the USAID tribe, focused on human capital development and the analysis of what's wrong with Philippine science and technology. Okay, so there's a 2014 paper that came out. And then David Hall suggested that we change the name to something that is more, again, attractive. Okay, so we changed the name only to revert back to Philippine Science Letters afterwards. And I won't explain anymore why. It's a long story. Okay, but the other major things that David Hall did was to fund a subscription for us of Scholar One. Okay, Scholar One is this app that allows you to submit papers, okay, in an automated way, and to search for appropriate reviewers depending on the keywords of the paper. Okay, so that's still ongoing, although I don't know, Wendell Richmond will tell us whether it's still in full operation, Scholar One, but we are still using
Still in full operation, ma'am.
Oh, Mon, thank you so much. You're here with us now. So everyone knows Richmond Pancho, okay, because he's also helping us in PAASE. He's really the person behind PSL and PAASE online and website. Okay, third was to make one of the RTI, so Research Triangle Institute, so that USAID Stride was, well, it's really operated by Research Triangle in North Carolina. So he got an American scientist focused on agriculture as one of the associate editors or one of the co-editors. And I think later we will show you the editorial, the editor page. And so I think that USAID Stride had a major role in sustaining PSL through the years. And then at some point, Ed Padlan withdrew as co-editor because of advancing age and well, poor health. And then I became very busy as with UP, and I invited Wendell Rivera to be co-host, and Wendell committed to getting PSL going, and Mon aimed to get PSL Scopus listed beyond being ISI listed. And so now that we are here at this point where you have many members in PAASE, and we are trying our best to organize PAASE into groups, we think that PSL might be sustainable and it can be a viable journal online. And well, we're not going to force it, but again, we would like to propose that PSL be considered by the board, okay, to become the official journal of the PAASE. Okay? And after it is endorsed, perhaps put it to a vote, okay, by the general membership, so that if it gets approval, then it gets support from many members of PAASE. Okay. So I think I'll end there and let Wendell tell you more about PSL. Thank you.
Thank you, Giselle. Let me just share you a PowerPoint prepared by Richmond. Okay. I think most of the slides, Giselle is able to mention a few of these points. Of course, PSL, as you know, is an online open access journal. And we always emphasize this, that the journal showcases science done in the Philippines and science done by Filipinos elsewhere. Okay, I had a similar talk in the APAMS. I don't know if you were able to attend that talk on PSL. Okay, so Giselle also mentioned that there are several topics included, of course, in the as topics for PSL. Okay, for natural, physical, mathematical, computational, and social sciences. And we do publish these kinds of documents. And this is how it looks like. I don't know if you have browsed the website recently, but through Mon, of course, is able to do a good layout for the journal. Okay, now let's talk about special issues. Every July, PSL comes out with a special issue, but this is very unique in the sense that PSL was able to collaborate with the Philippine Society for Microbiology. I'm a microbiologist, so it was easier for PSL to collaborate with PSM. And I think for 3 consecutive years now, we were able to come out with a special issue. And of course, each issue gathers some of the best research work on microbiology. But normally, on the average, I think we get around 15 to 20 submissions. But out of those submissions, on the average, around 8 or 9 are published in every special issue. Okay. So say, for example, this is a special issue in 2019. We only, I think, accepted these papers. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, around 8 papers. Now, how do we publish? As Giselle mentioned, we use Scholar One as an online manuscript management system. Of course, you're familiar with Scholar One. It manages all the submissions to PSL, from editor in charge assignment to, of course, assignment of the reviewers and eventually revision of the manuscripts. Richmond is with us today, so I think Richmond would be in a better position to discuss how the Scholar One works. Mon, can you do that? I can control the slides.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good morning to everyone. What we're seeing right now is the login page for Scholar to access Scholar One. Of course, what's keyed in right now is the co-editor access for Scholar One. But if you would note on the upper right-hand corner of the first field, there's a create an account section where if you're a new user or if you're someone who's going to submit for the first time to PSL, you'll be instructed to first create an account, then submit your manuscript. And then once you're next slide, sir. And then once you're inside the system, you'll be introduced to this particular dashboard. What we're seeing right now is more of the the admin dashboard, which is why there's a lot of sub-modules inside, like the admin tasks, the EIC tasks, the associate editor tasks, reviewer tasks, etc. But if you are logged in as let's see, as an editor in charge, you'll be able to see the EIC tasks and AE tasks up until those modules. But if you have a global login like Sir Windel, Giselle, and I have, you'll see all the pending tasks and all the other pending works that are needed to be addressed for each stage of the submission for the manuscript, whether it's a feature article, commentary, or a regular article or a special issue article. So if next slide, sir. This is an example of a manuscript review of a particular submission. So if you click on one of those links um, in the dashboard, it will give you a quick rundown of what it is exactly. And you can see in this particular example, there's the manuscript ID, which starts with PSL-2018, which means year of submission, and 0019 means it's the 19th submission of the year. And also, you would see towards the end of the manuscript ID, if there is a tag beginning with R, it means that it's a revision of the original submission. R2 means it already has undergone 2 revisions.
Yes.
And it means that it has this chance to impress the EIC and the AE before it could be approved for publication. As the admin, I am submitted, and I usually are tasked to check whether all the submittals are ready before we even think of inviting an EIC be assigned for each manuscript. So there are several questions in place by PSL, like are all the figures and tables available for review? Is the paper blinded already? Does the manuscript? There's also a question whether the manuscript is prepared in Word format, because PSL automatically generates the manuscript into a PDF where reviewers could see all the lines numbered. So meron po siyang I think it's called the line system, where you get to see the number of lines for the entire article. And that's done automatically by PSL. All you have to do is to submit a Word file. And then it also embeds a watermark so that it notifies the reader, the EIC, and the reviewers that it's for review purposes. And once the drop-down boxes are ticked, and either I or Sir Wendell clicks on, we go to the next slide, which is this is where we assign reviewers for the manuscript. If and you would see towards the bottom of the table that Scholar One, through its wide network scholars, already has some suggestions on to be assigned as reviewers. All you have to do is just to click on the radio boxes under Add. For example, for this particular article, it's recommending Christian Kamagud as a potential reviewer for the review. If the EIC also thinks that this particular person is a good match, then all that we have to do is to click on the radio button and click on the add icon towards the bottom of the screen. And then we would also see how many reviewers we can click and we can assign before each article can be approved. There are, and Sir Wendell can attest to this, there are times when EICs are even stumped at finding the appropriate reviewer for each manuscript. So sometimes even the EIC provides his or her services as additional reviewers, just so we could get that sweet number the minimum number of reviewers for the entire review process of each manuscript. Next slide. And then when the article is ready to be given by the EIC, they would be launched to this particular module, the decisions. And under this, there are several options, whether to accept or to accept with condition, whether it's minor revision, major revision, or revise for language editing. This one, I believe, was a special request by PSL, which is not entirely available in Scholar One, but they graciously provided us with this particular option, revise for language editing, and also rejected. Scholar One, for purposes of keeping of confidentiality, does not automatically attach the view of the comment or the comments of the reviewer. It's up to the EIC to extract the comments from the reviewers and paste it on the system generated email when they do make a decision whether it's accept or otherwise. But there sometimes, actually most of the time, the EICs forget to click on commit decision. They just click on save and they think it's already a decision. But it's a learning process. And also there are times when they forget to click on the allow pop-up buttons. Scholar One heavily uses a lot of pop-up screens because of certain automated emails that it generates on behalf of the user. So it's relatively easy to use. Next slide, sir. This is an example. Okay, an example of pending works from taken from Scholar One. So this was last year, and as you would note, it also tells you if there are no editor in charge. There's a charge assigned as of yet, or if there are some people who already are assigned, what are their pending activities or pending deliverables, and if there is if there is a word draft before the name of the manuscript, it means the corresponding author has yet to submit the revised article.
I'm actually traveling to kasi I'm so sorry. Must be the bad internet in the Philippines, mobile internet in the Philippines. But anyway, ma'am, it's if you see the word draft before the manuscript ID, it means the corresponding author has yet to submit the revised version of the original version of the manuscript. So it also provides that kind of information for quick decision making. Next slide, sir. This is an example of a typical overview of all the modules that are available for a particular editor in charge. But I think this is more for the admin po, more for Sir Windel and Ma'am Giselle and I. So you would see here all the information neatly arranged, like when was it submitted to PSL, when are the deliverables due from each of the assigned experts. And you would also see here that since it's a revision, since we do follow the version history, it also logs in the previous version. But for this particular example po, since it's the first version, it only captures the first one po, and there's already a decision letter in place. If you click on the link po, you would see another pop-up button telling us that the EIC has already sent her reply to the corresponding author regarding her decision on the manuscript. Next slide po. This is an example of a published article. If you look at your left, you would see a popular science article, and if you look to your left, you would see a scholarly article. Next slide.
Okay. Thank you, Mon.
Yes, sir.
Where's the cell?
Wendell,
Yeah.
I'm going to share.
Okay.
Okay, latest articles. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So we featured the article written by June Lit and Mario Santo Domingo on PAASE, 40th APAMS. Okay, and this is the title that they gave. PAASE sets eyes on broadly resilient Philippines. And then we published an article, and I am going to share this with the whole of PAASE. The article, the paper, position paper written by Joel, after we held our S&T Human Capital Development chat, CP. So after Fireside Chat 2, Joel wrote an article, he shared with us, okay, and he agreed to have it published here. And so I will share that with the general membership later.
Thank you, Giselle.
I'm hoping to publish also the Bernitos' paper, but they already published it in Química, but I'll ask permission from Química.
Yeah.
Okay? Publish it here. Here's a recent feature, and this is written by Ali Kuanan of DLSU, formerly with MSI. So it's actually on the choral collection that was established during the time, started during the time of Francisco Nemenso Sr. This is the father of Dodong Nemenso, who was a zoologist and former chancellor. Am I right? But he was a very highly respected professor in UP Diliman. Okay, so Ali Conan wrote about him and the choral collection. So this is the current page, homepage of PSL. Is that right, Mon? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Updated as of last night po.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, and this is a special issue. And I just wanted to say that, well, original logo was by Marvin Altamia, but the reformatting of this is Mon's. And so if you view this from the cell phone, it comes out nicely, and maybe you should try viewing it from the cell phone. I am going to move this now to the About page, because here you have the co-editors, and this has not been updated because David Hall is no longer here. He's no longer COP. Is Mark Robson, who joined us, and then we had as associate editors the following. Now Kevin Rodolfo is no longer a member of the PAASE, okay, but we have them as associate editors in the last round. I'd like to introduce adjunct editor Edwin Abaya, who couldn't join us today, but in the poster I sent last night, his photo was there, and he's a volunteer language editor, and he didn't want his other affiliation indicated here. He came to me in Quezon Hall sometime in 2013 or 14, asking to give back, ways to give back to the UP and to the Philippines. And so he accepted this offer of mine to be the language editor of PSL, which he is to this day. We had a popular science writer, Louis Atienza, at the time, and he was a freelancer, and he was being paid for articles written on a per word basis, okay, by the PSL. But when USAID Stride gave us support, they gave him better pay, and he signed a contract with them. But then that ended, so Louis no longer writes for PSL, and we're looking for a pop sci writer. Normally, it would be our members. So pop sci is actually the current version of Star Science, which was coming out in Philippine Star for 10 years, okay, until the science editor Tony Pano passed away and PhilStar was acquired by the MVP group. But every Thursday without fail then, I had somebody writing an article in Star Science, and they were all or mostly from PAASE. And that's why we have this pop sci article type to this day. Editorial board, they're PAASE members. Look at this editorial board. Okay, by disciplines, by specializations, mostly from PAASE and from NAST. Okay, but I'll stop here and ask Wendell to share our experience regarding the editorial board. Wendell.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No? Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Giselle. Okay. Ma'am Nina has a question. Let me answer that one first. How long or longest does a paper gets published in PSL? It actually depends on the editor in charge, because we request for an editor in charge for a particular paper. And at times, on the average, maybe around 4 to 5 months. Okay, but there are times that it takes really long. For example, maybe the longest would be almost a year, but we don't want to happen. We don't want that to happen again. So recently, we really choose who would be the EIC for a particular paper. But the shortest, in 3 weeks or so, we are able to publish a paper submitted to PSL. Now, as to experience with the editorial board, yeah, Giselle flashed the names of the members of the editorial board, but unfortunately, I think in the past year or so, when we request them to serve as EIC for papers, many of them decline our request. So what we do, of course, we contact other PAASE members, or of course active researchers here in the Philippines. Some of them are not PAASE members, but we were able to tap them to serve as EICs for papers. So that's why Giselle put it as one of our item for discussion, the editorial board, because it seems that we need to decide to really have a change or in the membership of the editorial board. Okay. We would like, of course, for those who can really help PSL be part of the editorial board.
Okay, so I think at this point, we have done with our presentation of our PSL, and I will then flash our poster for our discussion guide, but it's the reason we're presenting this to PAASE. I think it's because the origin of PSL is really PAASE. Ed Padlan and myself as members and collaborators. And we are counting on PAASE members to be active as editorial board members and reviewers. And Nina, if it takes long to get the paper published, then it's because I think we lack support for everyone. For the longest time, yeah, it's been like just us running it. So on a voluntary basis, of course, and putting our finances or personal finances into it. Okay, from the start with Ed. And so at this point, we would like to ask again whether PAASE could support PSL if it's worthwhile. And yeah.
Giselle, can I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Yeah, so when you say PAASE supporting PSL, what does that really mean? What do you mean by support?
Yeah. So not a range of support, but first and foremost, submitting papers. That's all. That's like just the minimum. And as I said, in 2 rec meetings, some suggested that we come up with special issues in PSL per rec.
Okay. I want to ask a question, and I don't know if this has been on the table or it's been considered. Is there any consideration at all for PSL to be acquired by PAASE?
I think that's the dream.
Okay.
Yes, but you know, we're not forcing it. That this was already proposed years back, but it was
All right.
I proposed that it be the official PAASE journal. Okay?
How long ago was that, Giselle?
Oh, years ago, maybe more than 5 years ago.
Okay. Well, maybe it's worth submitting this again as a proposal to PAASE. Perhaps the board can discuss it. I think there's more openness now about this.
Right. So that's why, you know, we hold this chat.
Yeah.
And you know, go ahead, Joel. Go ahead.
My thinking is that actually it would be in the interest of PSL, and I think it's also in the interest of PAASE. And I don't know who owns PSL right now, but if there is willingness on the owners of PSL for it to be acquired by PAASE, then I'm supportive of that.
Thank you, Joel. So it's really a bit of a problem trying to get the Scopus listing of PSL because you have to identify the publishers, the owners, of the publishers. Okay, so in the past, the owners are Ed Padlan and myself. Okay, now the owners.
I see.
Richmond, whom did you identify as the publishers or owners of PSL now? Didn't we say it's Giselle and myself?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So how can you get Scopus?
I think that's why Scopus had some difficulty in assessing the journal last time we applied.
I see. So if for instance, the publisher of PSL becomes the Philippine American Academy of Science and Engineering, do you think that that would help obtain the Scopus listing,
Yes.
given that the publisher now is going to be an existing organization?
Yes, sir. I think that's what they're looking for, an existing, for PSL to be affiliated with an existing group, especially
Got it. Got it. Okay.
Joel, as
So just to be clear, who are the current official publishers? One is you, Giselle, I heard that. Who's the other one? Is it Wendell?
yes, yeah.
Okay. All right. So my question is, Wendell, because I think I know what Giselle wants, and she's agreeable to PSL being acquired by PAASE. What about you, Wendell? What is your candid thinking about this?
I fully support that idea.
Oh, okay, great. Then why don't we propose this officially to PAASE, to the board? Yeah.
Yes.
Mamina.
Yes, I am moving really, although we are very, very few, for PAASE to support this particular journal because we have several organizations that have their own journal, like for instance, the Philippine Journal of Crop Science,
Yeah.
and then the ISAS journal. This is supported by the organization. So I think it's high time for PAASE to have PSL as its banner journal. And it will be easy. Yeah, the members will be very supportive in contributing papers, especially if the papers are presented in any of the PAASE conventions or meetings.
Right, right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Edsel, you are online. Can we get your reaction to this?
Well, I think it needs to be presented to the board, as you mentioned, because we couldn't assume that the board, and of course the PASI members, will automatically support. That has to be properly done. I think it's good to have a journal that PASI sponsors, and this could be a possibility, certainly. And now, how much will it cost? I think that might be one question that PAASE board and members might be interested in asking. What will be the cost of publication or the maintenance of the journal? Because of course this will be if PAASE supports this, then we're committed to that financial aspect. So that might be something that Giselle or Wendell might want to mention.
So Edsel, that's of course a good question. So not a lot. We are always now on the lean and mean mode, right? But we've been at this for the longest time. First of all, Ed and I are volunteers. Wendell is a volunteer. And, we're just really concerned about continuity. So,
Yeah.
continuity and support.
You don't want it to die. That's the thing. You certainly do not want it to die. Yeah.
If you can check the archives, you can look at the archives for the quality of the articles. And so, if you don't mind, Richmond, I'll just say it, okay? Is that all right, Richmond? Richmond is a volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he believes in our cause. It's almost like he's an adopted PAASE. Because he believes in, this journal and all my projects, he does extra time for PAASE and for PSL. So PSL is a minimum per month that, I pay Richmond personally. And then for every article that he puts up every month, there is an additional. Okay? And the fee is similar to the PSL honorarium that we provide Richmond. Okay, aside from that, what else do you pay for?
It's Scholar One. Yeah,
GoDaddy.
you have to pay.
It's no longer GoDaddy, Richmond. It's another server. So
Hostinger, ma'am. It's much cheaper.
much cheaper.
Hostinger.ph.
Hostinger. And that's every year. Do we pay the fee every year, or is it every?
Since we got the promo, ma'am, I think we're good. We're set for the next couple of years, and we renew the subscription and the hosting every 2 years. Ma'am.
Yes. Now, so that's the next expense, no?
Yes, ma'am.
And I would think that we could go on this way, Wendell, Richmond, myself. Edwin Abaya is gratis, nothing. It's give back to the Philippines, no? The other thing that cost a lot was Scholar One.
Yep, that's the one that I've had.
That's
Yeah.
the one that USAID tried paid for. So I believe it was $1,000 or so. But you know, more?
Is that per year?
No, it was like a subscription for a long period. And then, well, Stride said, no longer, we will not renew the subscription. But until now, we're able to make use of it. So they've not really cut us. There's not been a payment from Stride because they said they had no allocation anymore. Absolutely, we have not paid anything for Scholar One. So that would be the only major expense, I think, of Scholar One. To be honest, you're asking for donations. We're asking for donations from PAASE. And, you know, I do have silent donations and it just go on, I guess, you know, for, yeah, indefinitely. And I would just perhaps register, if PAASE acquires PSL, I would just register it or, you know.
So Giselle, would you be willing to make that proposal to the next BOD meeting?
I think, Joel, this is the purpose of this chat. Yes. If you lead to this, then I would make the proposal to the BOD. Only reason I haven't done it is because when we presented PSL at the business meeting last August 13, Carlito, no less, said that there should be further discussion on PSL by the members. And so now we have this chat, and well, key persons in PAASE have attended this meeting, including 2 board members.
Yeah. And I think that would be fine. So just to keep the ball rolling within PAASE, so you make the formal proposal to the BOD. The BOD can have the initial discussion. And if the BOD decides that, yes, we need the input of the general members for this to happen, then so be it. Let them take the time to do that. And then the decision will be made by the BOD, I suppose. So it's a process, but I think it's good to start and initiate the process now. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joel. There's a question in the chat, Wendell. Would you like to read it, Wendell?
That's CP's question.
Yes. CP, yeah.
One question is that on the objectives of the journal, is it to be a local Scopus listed journal or a popular science journal or a local journal to be used by early career researchers to use as a stepping stone towards international publication?
So my answer to that, CP, which is really what I you know, expected you would ask. First is the last one. early career researchers to use as a stepping stone. It's already ISI listed, and within the UP, it receives an International Publication Award, CP. It does. Okay, I don't know in LaSalle, okay, but definitely in UP, it gets the 55,000 prorated among the co-authors.
All right.
So CP, in relation to that, I have to tell you, Joel and Edsel, why PAASE in the past rejected. Okay, and I think you can guess it's because PAASE members would say, why will I publish in PSL my research when I should be publishing it in a high impact journal? Okay, why will I, in quotes, sacrifice my article for publishing in PSL, okay, with no impact factor until now, when I should be publishing it as part of a bigger paper in a high impact journal?
Okay.
That of course is a valid point. That
Yeah.
that's and I think that was what Carlito was mentioning in his email this morning about the name of the journal, because it's a Philippine science letter. I think what he was saying is if Philippine is on the, it has that main thing in the journal title, then it might get perceived as simply as a local journal. And as a consequence, if somebody wants to be recognized in his discipline, as you said, that person might not want to sacrifice that paper in a journal that might not have a good readership. So that's the concern I think that Carlito had. So what we, if one possibility is to try to see to it that it is an international journal, not only a local journal. It could still be tied into PAASE, but it has to be perceived as a journal that is for the whole discipline, not simply for Philippine scientists. So that's it even allow possibilities for others to submit articles that may not be from the Philippines. But I think that could be a concern, because let's say that somebody from the US or from Europe wants to establish his or her credentials. Then at the end, when they get evaluated for tenure promotion, people will ask, where are your papers appearing? And they'll start looking at whether they're getting published in high impact journals or international journals. So we don't want it to be perceived simply as a local journal, I think, if we want to do that. Because it's hard enough to write good papers. And if you have a good paper, you certainly do not want to sacrifice that good paper. And we don't want either to have PAASE just be the repository for papers that might be the best. We want it to be the journal that gets the best papers. So that type of thing. But of course, it takes time to establish that. It's not an overnight process, just like any journal. It's like you get to that stage. So, but I think that's Carlito's concern in his email this morning.
Yeah, I think this will be part of the discussion within PAASE in terms of what really is the objective, the main objective of this journal. And Giselle, I would submit that one difference between a few years back when the board first considered this and now is that we have now about over 300 PAASE members. And a lot of these members are in the Philippines, and some of them are in the regions of the Philippines. And a lot of them need experience in terms of publishing in, I guess, Scopus recognized journals. And so if this journal obtains the Scopus rating, that would be helpful to
Yeah.
those PAASE members. But then again, there will be the discussion in terms of what is the real objective or purpose of this journal within PAASE. And I think that's a very valid rationale as well for the journal.
So maybe we can hear, thanks, Joanna. I have other things to share, but perhaps we could hear from CP and then from Nina. Would you like to speak?
It looks like CP is
And
gone.
Jose.
And of course,
Yeah.
Did we lose CP? Yeah.
are you
Seems we've lost CP.
He left.
I see. So, Nina, anything you would like? Mahirap talaga masustain ang journal if it is for free. I think it is high time that a certain amount be charged, especially if there are colored pictures.
Oh, well, the main reason why I mentioned it, because PAASE, Philippine Agricultural Scientists, charge cover page, I think, especially kung merong colored pictures because it's very expensive. Per picture ang charge kapag colored. It depends. And the ISAS journal, per article ang charge. Per page ang charge pala. Kasi ang ISAS journal, although it is a journal ng society, wala kami mapagcha-chargean. So all articles being published are charged. And it's in dollars. Like for instance, one article we paid around $200, $210.
So,
Ma'am,
yes.
we don't have a print version sa PSL, so that's why we don't charge only online version.
Oh, I
think you
see.
could-
Kasi
you
may
could
print
still
versions
justify.
ng mga to.
Yes po.
But you know, you could still justify
Yeah.
the paid
Pag-charge.
charges because you pay for this Scholar One system. Yeah, so, and I think that's typical of international journals. Sometimes it's more voluntary payment. Yeah, so a lot of the journals are voluntary. That means that the publication of the paper does not depend on whether you could pay or not. But a lot of people, if they have the grant money or the money, they just pay for it as a contribution. But I think that's one thing too. You don't want the journal to require payment for publication, because otherwise there could be a perception that it's a predatory journal. Okay, because that's the typical situation. You never want to have that perception, because that will not be good. But I think having paid charges is a natural thing to do, even if it's online, even if it's online access. A lot of the journals now are going online. A lot of our professional journals are online now, but we still pay. We say if you could contribute some for page charges, then we contribute, but it's not a requirement. Yeah, so.
I think this topic is very important, Nina and Edsel, and it could be decided later if PAASE acquires PSL. But right now, it's all free, except when, say, the special issue would have to be printed. And so that possibility exists. Right now, all articles, they're online, but then there are some special issues where the editor has arranged for printing with funding from the DOST. So a forthcoming special issue, I understand, Wendell, on algae,
Yeah.
with Dr. Gross,
Yeah.
has funding from Picard.
Yeah.
For printing of that special issue.
Right.
But this special issue, this printing is also an issue, okay? Because it looks like some people still want to get printed issues. And it was also raised by Vince Daria and others in our Rex meetings, where I think he or Mario Santo Domingo suggested that if we printed issues or half a year issues and special issues of PSL, then our mission would be to get copies of these issues into main libraries or best libraries all over the country, or best libraries of best souks all over the country. Okay, so there is still a value to having the printed version, and say people going to the library to leaf through the pages like we used to before, especially for those with no internet connection and cannot appreciate the online, or have difficulty, like people with failing eyes, difficulty reading from a screen. But I think also important is the issue per se of fees for online journal access. Used to be that for printed journals, the fees were just on, the colored, say, micrographs, right, Nina? So $100, $200 per page of with a printed colored, say, photo or micrograph. Okay. Lower fees. But nowadays, okay, those printed journals would rely on subscription, yearly subscriptions, right? So my income, we really receive some income from that. But nowadays, it's the reverse. Open access journals, they're the ones really opening up scientific publications, including preprints, including review stage. You're already out there. It's almost ideal or idealistic to have this situation where, well, one day you publish your work, okay, and the world judges you immediately. Your peers can access your work and can judge that this is good or bad, right? Without review, okay? Because then if you published something that's really below par, then your reputation suffers. But anyway, now it's still mediated by open access journals, and do they charge fees? So our last two publications, they cost $1,999, $2,000, okay?
Yeah.
And that's precisely because now you have no more income from the viewers or from the readers. There's no more subscription fee for the income of the journal. So the fees have been now passed on to the authors. And you say that, yes, there could be conflict of interest, but the way they do it, I think everyone does it now, is you don't pay the fee until your paper has undergone the rigorous review and you have now finalized your article that is ready for publication. That's the only time they charge the fee. Okay, so it looks like the system is working, and even if you ask for a discount because you're coming from a developing country, they won't give it because there are collaborators from the US or from elsewhere. So yeah, this includes science or nature related journals, of course. So the system has changed, and so I don't know what's the best for.
Yeah. And I think, Giselle, assuming that this the PSL gets acquired by PAASE, I think there's a number of ways by which PAASE could raise funds for PSL. Of course, with PAASE, it's easier to ask for support from stakeholders in the Philippines, for instance. The other one is, one possibility would be to periodically come up with publications, almost like small books on special topics, by gathering, previously published papers that are pertinent to that theme or topic. And then the editor or editors of that special edition could request additional new papers from guest authors or invited authors. And then that could be sold in the US, worldwide as well, actually. And I think that would have an audience, quite an interest in it. And there are others. So there could be a business model that's really established for sustaining PSL.
I think we're being asked to do that. We're invited, the top papers that are published in the online journals. Yeah, get an invitation to get a paper published in a book.
Correct.
Also an ebook, right? But am I right?
Yes, it could be an ebook or it could be a real book. Yeah,
a real book. And but thing is, they're charging you again. They want you to pay for your paper to be published. So it's really income generating too.
Yeah, but in a way, I'm kind of against that, really charging the authors, because they're already the producers, and then you're asking the producers to pay the publisher. It seems unfair. So if there's a way to kind of change that system, that would be win-win for the authors as well as the publisher. I think that would be great.
Because it's already happening in the first publication, that these open access journals are charging the authors $2,000.
Yes.
And of course, they'll say, anyway, it should be built into your grant. So you have your huge research grant, just get it. So it's again government. It really comes, down to U.S. government or even Philippine government spending for that. Okay, because you can understand, you're opening it up to the world, and these people are no longer able to charge subscription. So
I think academic publication is going to be disrupted pretty soon.
Even more so now because of this. They have no income. And of course, publications, research itself is suffering. Not as many papers are coming in.
All right.
I think the other by Edsel is very important. And again, it was in Carlito's email, and that the sacrifice issue. So I think that's valid.
Right.
But if we focus on our graduate students completing their master's thesis, or our RAs doing a little compact study but of a high quality, okay, we used to call this training journal. So, Edsel and Joel, this is the idea that it would be like for first publications of graduates, postgraduates.
Right.
So you would not really put in, of course, your best work in PSL. Okay? But on the other hand, if the quality is good, then we find ways of publicizing PSL. I mean, I know you don't like to use the word chicken egg, but it is vicious cycle that you should break. Find a way to break. Okay? Because if you don't give it support, it will never improve. If you don't, you don't improve it, it will not get more support, that kind of thing. So I think there's just got to be a definitive step to support it or not to support it within the PAASE. Okay, but whether or not PAASE supports it, I think Wendell and I and Richmond are committed to doing this.
Wonderful.
But before you know it, my health will be ailing. I will be ailing health like Ed Padlan. Then Wendell will have to take over and look for the next co-editor. So I guess it's really the continuity that we would.
And maybe that's why we need Jose. So Jose,
Yeah,
could we turn to you and tell us what your thoughts are?
yeah, I think so.
Hello, I'm J.I. Nairo. I'm a chemist from the LSU. And I'm also the associate publisher of the LSU Publishing House. So my main role there is that I
Wow.
the overall manager of all the journals that the LSU publishes. So for our Scopus Index journal, so wala na kami masyadong problema doon. But for our relatively new journals, so our approach is we try to get it indexed in credible databases. So of course, it's very tough to be indexed by Scopus immediately and Web of Science. So our initial target is the ASIAN Citation Index, ACI, which is relatively easier to get indexed to. And in DLS, is if you publish in a journal indexed by ACI, then you can use it for promotion. So somehow, at least, it generates a demand for papers if your journal is indexed by ACI. And then they try to partner with conferences to publish and to speed up the publication. They try to get the peer review comments from the conference review. So they ask that from the conference organizers as well. So if the review is thorough enough, so they can use it. So it's just like the transfer of review service from other journals, wherein the journal get the earlier peer review reports and then try to use that to judge the paper.
So Jose, what would be your recommendations for PSL?
I think it would greatly improve PSL if it would be acquired by PAASE, because it gives a body to the publisher, and at the same time also solves the publisher problem from Scopus. Because when I checked the publisher listed in ISI for PSL, it's still with Dr. Concepcion and Dr. Padlan, care of the Marine Science Institute.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if we can have it published by PAASE, so it's a professional organization, then probably PAASE can channel some funds to support the journal. So that can, I mean, it would have more options for the business model of the journal. Because for university journals, the business model is straightforward. The university sponsors the journal. But for a professional organization-led journal, then you can have several business models. So the prof org can support it. You can have some page charges. You can partner with other organizations. Like for example, the LSU will co-publish a journal with the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines, IPOPHIL. So it's on a co-sharing agreement. So the LSU will shell out funds, IPOPHIL will shell out funds. So.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, great.
Thank
So
you.
that's important. Thank you so much. Very important inputs. So am I right, Joel, that in the States there aren't many university published journals? Does the University of Arizona have one?
Not very many.
No, but there's a, what do you call that? The university publishing arm, what do you call that?
Perhaps for books. It's a
Yes, it's for books and monographs, yeah. But not for
but
journal, yeah.
Yeah, they're not very,
I mean,
aside from Princeton or Harvard, I think. Yeah. But the smaller ones, they don't get traction.
so Princeton and Harvard, they publish.
Yeah, they have their, they have that Princeton, Harvard.
Yes,
Yeah.
press.
So,
But
the others, I don't think they get traction in some sense. I'm not sure. University of Arizona, I know University of South Carolina, we have something like that, but it doesn't get much traction. I think it's not a
Yeah.
very viable one. I think yes, and it's
Yeah, I don't think we have any
the
journal.
is
Does
that
NSF have a journal? Does NIH have
no,
a journal?
we no,
Because
we yeah. Uh, the professional journals are the main ones, like the Institute of Mathematical Statistics, where I'm a executive secretary. We have several journals, and then other
Right.
journals that we support. But it's quite expensive, and we're losing money on that one because the subscriptions are decreasing because people could access. It's an open access, so people could do it. So technically, the institute is basically supporting this with a lot of money. So, but it's our service to the whole community, to the whole international community. Yeah, and I think that's
Right.
that's just the way it is. Yeah, and it's
And
expensive to
also,
print. Yeah,
right.
printing is expensive.
And also, because of the culture of U.S. universities in terms of promotion and tenure, they really encourage the faculty members in the university to publish outside, not inside, because that would
Yep,
be
yep. That's
there's more prestige attached, and
mhm.
it's perceived as more neutral and more objective if it's published by an external publisher.
that's right. I think that's
Yeah,
the
and
that you're trying to
yeah,
raise. Conflict of
you,
interest.
you know.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Giselle. Go ahead, Giselle. Yeah.
Yeah. NSF and NIH are funding agencies. So
Yep.
why would they also be the publisher of the output of the,
Yeah.
you would want.
Oh, we encourage the PIs to publish them in the professional journals.
Yeah.
Technically, NIH and NSF's the main policies that we will give you money, do the research that you do, but we are not responsible for your research in some sense. We provide you the money to do
Right.
your research, but your views are not NSF or NIH views.
Arms
Yeah.
length.
So that's the very interesting model. So technically, we're just the funding agencies.
Right.
But we do encourage, and technically, that's how we assess PIs on their publications in the top journals. And that's why I think, Giselle, you were mentioning earlier that you're thinking that PSL will be more for beginning graduate students or researchers. That might not be the best strategy, because if you do that, then we will not get that traction to keep increasing the value of things. I think what we need is to allow those, but we should encourage people, established researchers in all over the world, technically, not only the Philippines, to start publishing in PSL. Because if that happens, then the journal starts getting more and more cited, and people will look at the papers there. But if you simply target graduate students or beginning researchers, there will come a time when the perception says, oh, it's just for beginning researchers, and you don't want that, because that will not get that traction. You want to make it appealing to everyone. That's why I think Carlito's point is actually that one. You want it to be appealing to people outside, like Joel, Michael, Francis, and so on. So because if people starts publishing in there, then people start publishing and say, oh, this is a good journal. So that's the idea, I think, that I'm thinking. And that could be done. Yeah, so it has to be worldwide focused in some sense. But of course, it's a cycle, as you mentioned. We start in the beginning, but you keep climbing the ladder. That's the idea, I think. Yeah.
I think we're down to the crux of the matter. So, this is the most important. And I agree. That's precisely where maybe PAASE
Yeah.
can defend.
Yeah.
So the idea is you have a graduate student doing a good master's thesis. And so he's not going to publish it by himself. He's going to publish it with his mentor, his thesis advisor.
Yeah.
Would be a PAASE member, maybe a local member. But then we are really fostering research collaborations among us between Philippine and US-based PAASE members. And therefore, for this particular study, I mean, I'm not saying it's the only kind, but for this study, if the graduate student was co-mentored by a local and a foreign PAASE member, automatically the foreign PAASE member would also be an author and would, publishing in the PSL would, come out in his Google Scholar citation and all that stuff. So I think it's a way to build the reputation of the Philippine research community.
Yeah.
But at some point, first, Ed wanted only Filipino scientists here and abroad. But actually now, am I right, Wendell, we've opened it up internationally. Okay? So anyone can publish in PSL, including Asian authors.
Yeah.
And we're not strict about it.
Restricted.
ASEAN Citation Index, I think that's very, very good suggestion.
Yeah.
I have to
Right.
ask you again your nickname. I'm so embarrassed to forget your nickname, Dr. Janairo.
JI po.
J.I. How can I remember J.I.? Now from now on, I'm so embarrassed to, give you the wrong name. Okay, so I think, then again, Joel, if this
Yes.
is the PAASE, then wow, then somebody would really have to be in charge. I mean, of course, you could still be in charge, but the business plan, you've got to do it better than how we're doing it. Obviously, there's lots of room for growth, for improvement and for growth. So, in
Okay.
terms of
Well, but you've done an excellent start. So the goal is to build on that.
that's exactly, and even the name, I know it's controversial. We tried it. The same comments, Edsel from USAID's tribe. Put international in the name. So we had that Philippine International Journal of Science and Technology. Guess what? It became predatory journal sounding. Okay, so then it turned out the acronym was also used for another, I think not a journal, but all of these predatory journals have these kinds of names. See? So at some point, there was a clamor to get it back to Philippine Science Letters. So that we did.
Now, letters connotes short articles.
Yes, short articles.
Correct. Yeah, is that what you? Yeah.
Yes, like how the professional societies were sending letters. Members were sending letters to one
Yeah.
as an.
But is that something that you'd like to continue, just letters? Because if I write a journal article, I usually have a very comprehensive one. So, and we have journals that are like statistics in probability letters, where the number of pages is no more than 6. So would you, as a PAASE, say if it becomes a PAASE journal, is it still viable to simply restrict it to the letters?
Journal of the Philippine American Academy of Science and Engineering.
Yeah. I think that.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that's something that you should, when you present it, that it's the name is open to change. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
because we don't want it we don't want the title to restrict it immediately. Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
I actually have another Zoom meeting coming up, so I need to.
I mean, we all have meetings every day now, isn't it?
Yeah.
The whole day for me, I was on Zoom.
So Giselle, thank you, and Wendell, and J.I., and Edsel.
Thank you all.
All right.
Thank you all.
Substantive discussion, and I guess all we need is a few minds really interacting in a very substantive way. So J.I., thank you so much for your input.
Thank you, J.I. Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Limpa.
Good night from here.
Okay.
good night, everyone. Good day.
Bye.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.